Cool. So I'm gonna start off with a story, right? So this is in the book that I'm reading right now, Atomic Habits. It was a controlled study that was done in the UK, and it has some pretty interesting results. So there was a control group. There were three different groups, right? And their goal was to lose as much weight as possible within a certain time period, right? Group one, they were just given the benefits of losing weight, getting in shape, right? Group two were given the benefits, and they were also given a motivational speech. Group three, they were given the benefits, but they also had to put like actionable steps in place. They actually had to do something. So they actually had to say, okay, every single day I'm gonna commit to doing this form of exercise when I wake up. And I'm gonna commit to not eating past a certain time, right? And attaching that to a location, a time and a place, and a specific area. As the results came in, group one, they didn't move the needle practically at all, right? Group two, as you can imagine, as soon as they left that room, the motivation disappeared. They forgot all about it. Group three had about 3 times better results than the first group. And that's not surprising, right? When it comes to habits and you want to change something, actually putting actionable steps towards it is going to be the biggest game changer, right? Because that's what defeats that's what beats you just having a dream or a wild ambition. It's actually putting actionable steps in place in order to get there. Things that you do on a consistent basis that might be boring, but on a long enough time horizon, it's gonna get you to your goal, right? And what this also does is like it sweeps away any foggy notions. So it's not gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna lose weight, man. I'm gonna do more exercise. It's like, no, I'm gonna wake up every single day after I have my morning coffee. I'm gonna have my morning coffee, and then I'm gonna go on a 1 hour walk, right? And this leads me on to my next point, which is habit stacking. So if you stack, humans like to work in patterns, right? If you stack a habit, like a habit that you want to change, like a good habit that you actually want to start implementing with something that you already do, it's more likely that you're gonna stick with that. So for example, if I know that I'm getting fat and I want to improve that, what I'm gonna do is if I know I have my morning coffee every single morning, and I know that's what I do, that even I've done it. You have your morning coffee every single morning, and then what you'll do after that is after every morning coffee I have, I'm gonna go on a walk. So I'm pairing the morning coffee habit, something I already do. Okay, now the next thing to do is walking, and your brain is registering this new chain of events: morning coffee, then a walk. So pairing two habits together, stacking them together, it's gonna beat motivation rather than you telling yourself, yo, I'm gonna exercise, man. I'm gonna do more. It doesn't work like that. I've even done it with journaling, right? I've been journaling for like a month straight. I've not missed any days, right? And the way I've been able to do this is what I do is I leave my journal on the desk, and after I have like my gallon or so of water, I'll have a coffee, and then I know when I've done those chain of events, my water, my coffee, then the next thing is journaling, and your brain will start making that a conscious decision, and it will make it something that's subconscious because it wants to use as the least brain power as possible in order to do things right. So it knows, okay, it's like water, coffee, journal, water, coffee, journal. Now you just embedded that into your programming. It's just normal. You don't need to think about it. And if I do that over a long enough time horizon, in 5 years' time, I'll be super conscious of what I'm doing. I'll be super self-aware. I won't overthink. All those benefits long term that you get from journaling, you only get that from them compounding over time, right? And in order to do that, it's got to be embedded into my daily routine. So I'm pairing it with another habit that I do anyway. You know what I'm saying? Yo, dropping gems here, dropping gems. And yeah, there's also an effect as well, right? That kind of backs that point up. It's called the Diderot effect. So this was like hundreds of years ago. I think there was this French writer. His name was Diderot, and he was super broke, right? I think he needed money for his daughter's wedding or something like that. But the good thing was, he wrote like France's first encyclopedia. So what he did was he sold the rights to that for, at the time, it's like the equivalent to like $150,000. Okay, so all of a sudden now he's ran into a lot of money, right? And the Diderot effect is your brain working like in like a chain of events, like cascading actions, right? So what happened was he had all this money, and what he did was he got a new robe, like a luxury robe. He got a new robe, and when he had it in his room, in his home, amongst all his basic possessions, it really stuck. It stood out, right? Because you've got something luxury all amongst basic things, right? So what he did was from that point is he started to upgrade his curtains. He's buying rugs from Damascus. He's buying mirrors, etc. He's buying all these luxury things so it can fit in. And you've probably had the same thing as well from, let's say you go on Amazon, you order one thing, and it's just like cascading events, shopping spree, boom. And then you just end up buying loads of different stuff because one thing has set off this like chain of events, like a domino effect. Boom, 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 boom. And that's what's called the Diderot effect, right? Where bit by bit, you just end up having like this chain of events, right? So really understanding that that's how the brain works, using that to your advantage when it comes to habits is super, super, super important. Like you've always got to make sure you keep that in mind. Yeah, so based off that, you really want to tie the desired behavior onto something that you do daily. Like I mentioned, it's a Diderot effect. You want to have it like a cascading chain of events where you don't need to think, it just happens, right? So I know, for example, like I mentioned, I have my water, my coffee. I know I do that daily. So if I want to start journaling, I'm just going to incorporate it, sandwich it in between that. Then it becomes part of the fabric. Now I journal. Now if I want to do something else on top of that, let's say if I want to start meditating, I'll add that, the meditation after the journaling, right? You see how that works? Diderot effect, cascading chain of events, and you're also able to tie what you want to do into something that you know you already do anyway, right? Incorporating it into your life. And this is why it's way better than motivation. You don't want to have to rely on those bursts of motivation that you get at 3 a.m. at night to want to change your life. It doesn't take massive action out of nowhere and you're just going crazy working 12 hours a day. It's making sure you're doing the same things consistently. You're turning up every day for yourself, improving 1% better a day. It's cliche, but in a year's time, that's 365% improvement. That's what you want to do. So keep that in mind. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.